Louisiana Democrats are hoping to flip a U.S. Senate seat that's been held by Republicans for years.
That's right. Gary Crockett is here to talk about the runoff election and why he's the best candidate. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Of course. So first off, let's start with the primary in May. It was a very, very close race where you and Nick Alvarez, obviously you advanced to the runoff. But what do you think has changed since that primary in May heading into the election tomorrow?
Well, we've gone after Nick's voters. The people decided, 53% of them, that they did not want Jamie Davis. So that being said, there was a particular reason. So I said, well, let's go after his voters.
And what separates you from Davis?
Well, number one, I'm a 24-year Navy veteran. I'm a leader of men, as I have been. I own 4 successful companies in addition to that. But also, it's the practicality. Davis will bring the same thing that we've already got. He has all the endorsements, and I don't. That's a real big distinction. But I do have the endorsement of the people, and that's what we're going to see on Saturday night.
Now, how should the U.S. balance having a strong military in comparison to balancing the budget and how much we're spending?
Right. So the first thing is, we say America first, but in our actions, we don't see that. The first thing we should do is take care of America. Before we ever go into any conflict or any war, we need to do a moratorium on price increases, both on the wholesale and retail side. So therefore, the companies won't make any less, they'll make the same, and the people will only pay what they're paying.
What about immigration? As you know, yesterday the Supreme Court issued 2 victories for the Trump administration, ending temporary protected status for a lot of migrants. But the Supreme Court has not issued a ruling on birthright citizenship. So do you believe that someone born in the U.S. should automatically become a U.S. citizen?
Yes, absolutely. That's what the Constitution says. That's what it should be. Unfortunately, we have an administration right now that is doing everything counter to what the previous administrations have done. As far as immigration is concerned, we deported more people under Biden and Obama than we are under Trump. But Trump is doing less with less humanity as well.
So what should be done, since the court, of course, issued that ruling, and now, a lot of families are Haitian families and Syrians are thinking that they are now going to be deported. Even Stephen Miller said expect deportation. So what would you recommend the administration do to actually address that for families who've been here for years?
Right. So one of the things they need to do is rethink their policy. The reason why we have some of the Syrians and others here are because they helped us out during times of conflict in their countries. So there will be some type of backlash. What we need to do is find some humanity in what it is that we do to take care of these people that have been here. Some have been here for most of their lives.
I want to jump over to crime for a little bit because you do have a background in law enforcement as well. What is your response when Republicans argue that Democrats are often weak on crime? And we do have a problem across the state when it comes to youth specifically and juveniles in the criminal system.
Right. So one of the problems is that the Republicans have decreased program budgets. The reason why a lot of youth get into trouble is because a lot of programs that could help them are not in place. The same way with recidivism as well. A lot of programs that we have that we could help those that have served their time, those are cut as well. What we have to do is make sure that we continue to be tough on crime, but fair in sentencing. That's where the problem is.
Now, even the governor, when it comes to crime, he says that Democrats like to create hug-a-thug policies.
Right.
Do you believe that what you just suggested is quote-unquote hug-a-thug?
No, what it is humanity. What the governor is willing to do is spend, over the past 3 years, over $600 million on prisons, but decrease education. And even this year's budget, another $200 million in prisons, but no raises for teachers. So what that tells me is that his priorities are misplaced.
Now, your opponent, Jamie Davis, is a rural, he's a farmer, he comes from a rural area. You're a businessman. So how do you plan to reach those voters and relate to those voters in the rural areas?
Well, I'm older than Davis. I'm the oldest of those 3 opponents that I had, the 2 opponents that I had, but I look younger. I'm also from the same farming background. One of my chores during high school was taking care of a 3-acre plot because that's what we ate off of. So I can relate, and I can relate longer because of my age. But in addition to that, it takes more than farming to legislate. As a tough litigator, I already have the experience.
So how do you plan to work across the aisle to try to get something done? Because as you know, it's a very thin margin with the Republicans do control Congress, but how do you plan to reach across the aisle to try to get things done for Louisiana?
Well, that's the thing. What I'm going to do is pull them into the middle. The reason that I'm in this runoff is because of no party voters. I can say that now. And what has to happen is we have to bring some sensibility into all of our legislation. And that is what is happening. The two extremes don't work.
Now, what is your final message heading into the election tomorrow?
Well, what I want all the voters to do is take a look at me, especially the no party voters. I know that you're not happy. Louisiana is not a deep red state, as most people say. We have a little bit over 1 million Republicans, a little bit over 1 million Democrats, and we have 800,000 no party. It's really a purple state. And what we have to do is come together, bring some unity, and get things done for Louisiana. If we keep voting for the same thing with the establishment, we're going to get the same thing, which right now is nothing. Let's change things. Vote for Gary Crockett.
Now, looking forward to November, if you are elected tomorrow, what are you looking forward to doing to get the Democrats across the finish line in November?
Well, this is the thing. After Saturday night, the Democrats are going to come over to me, first of all, and what we're going to do is go over to the no party and invite them over. Because the thing is, the people are disenchanted with both parties. And it's very important for the Democrats to understand that too. New York has just shown us that with Mandani and the 3 people he endorsed. People are tired of the same old thing. And with my opponent, you'll get the same old thing. It's time for change.
Well, thank you so much for coming in, Mr. Crockett, and good luck on your election tomorrow. You can see our previous interviews with Mr. Davis as well as with State Treasurer John Fleming on LouisianaFirstNews.com, and we'll be right back.